before coming here, what I know about this genetical engineering is that producing seeds so that in the form of tampering with the DNA. But when I came to, it's the same idea that came out. And what I'm seeing that right now, as population is growing, we need to increase production as well, because agricultural land is reducing. So, and then what the scientists are now telling us to increase production to match up with the population in the country. So, with the coming of the genetical engineering products, comparing to other nations which are doing it, they are increasing production, and their excess production, whatever there is any disaster in any other countries, that's where we get our excess produce immediately to support the disaster nations. So with the idea of this DNA, I personally would like to have a support of it so that we can increase production, and the production to looking at the value chain line. For example, when we plant cotton, the cotton is meant for the industries, and then there's nothing hindering us that we can now increase the production of cotton so that to fill the industries. Right now, most of the textile industries are now running off. So with the coming up of increasing the production of cotton, for example, it will benefit the nation, and then the employment standard will also be increased. So with this genetical engineering, I support the idea that it should come so that we can learn from it to increase production.
I just participated in a forum on biotechnological practices as far as crop production in Africa is concerned. And basically, the topic discussed had to do with GMO, genetically modified organisms. And before then, there have been a lot of debates on GMO. And it was as if we all know genetically modified is looking at how to modify something using, of course, the genes, tamper with it to get the desired product or produce that you are looking for. And the picture was being portrayed as if we were looking at chemical modification that is coming to change the whole, produce of either plants, animal, or any other thing that you can think of. This sensitization has opened my eyes to the fact that we are only looking at the desired traits of or qualities of crops that we need in order to make a breakthrough as far as food security is concerned. For instance, this year and previously, last year for instance, we were looking at issues of fall armyworm, which is of course a pest. Just that when it attacks a field within a short period, a whole field could be wiped out. This sensitization has given me an insight into the fact that genetically modified crops could be generated such that at the end of the day, a plant, take for example, cowpea, can have certain qualities that would ward off insects. And by warding off the insects, of course, we know issues of inappropriate chemical usage, mishandling of chemicals that bleeds into several pollutions of water, environment. Even in certain cases, the people lose their life because they don't adequately or appropriately use these chemicals. If, of course, by GMO, something can happen such that the seed of cowpea, for instance, is modified. Instead of spraying 7-6 times before harvest, the farmer may go in to just do one pesticide control. One, our environment is being saved by the fact that the number of pesticides usage is going to be reduced. The farmer is going to save some money, and by so doing, the farmer can effectively take care of the crops and go through all the necessary agric practices in order to increase his or her yields by not actually tampering with the yield components of the crops. Of course, it's true that at the end of the day, whatever you are going to do, you need to look at the advantages and the disadvantages. Of course, we want to trust that the researchers who are involved will actually look at issues and areas where, when tempered with, will not necessarily affect the development of a particular crop or even affect the human that will be consuming the crops at the end of the day. For me, looking at the advantages and the disadvantages, I think it will not be out of place for us to accept GMO based on our conviction and our knowledge and understanding of what it actually stands for and what we can achieve by accepting GMO.
The workshop today concerning GMO has been very massive. It has enlightened me a lot, because when I came here, I had the mindset that because the topics that have been discussed within the country, I had the picture that GMO is just a matter of trying to introduce animal genes into crop genes per se. But I realized that the scientists here have been able to make it clear that it's just the manipulations of the gene within the crop component. Maybe if a crop is suffering a certain setback, they will manipulate a gene from a different crop and add it to the other crop so that it can withstand whatever problem is suffering with. Maybe it could be resistance, it could be drought tolerance, it could be yield per se, or disease. But looking at it, I had a question which I gave to most of us in the course of the workshop. I asked Prof about the question concerning if a farmer is trying to find out, is it possible for them to come out clearly and give us their trust as to whether, when we are opting for that angle, GMO for this country, are we going to be relied on fully that things will be okay? And yeah, I heard from Prof, he made it clear to me that yes, it is something they are going to do it on themselves, not a white man coming out with a product and then bringing it to them to sell, and then farmers will now buy us a seed for them to sow. But they can establish the labs, you register with the MBA, and you can come out with your product within the country. The monitoring will be okay. I'll be okay. But if, like the picture I had first, maybe once we bring the product, bring it to us, farmers will buy. At the end of it, I was having a fear as to whether at the end of it, our natural genes of the crops may not get lost. But he was able to stand to that point and told me that no, I should not have that fear. Even what I learned from what he had just presented, he made it clear that it's not even all the crops they are going to get into this component of modification. Maybe it may pick some particular crops and leave some. But with all that, they will not lose track of the full genes that were existing in the system. I'm happy for the training today, but I think that what we have been able to learn and what I pick from it, my farmers in the field, I will start explaining my little understanding of it to them. But I think that the education about GMO should even go wider than what we are having here today. Let farmers be able to get the picture that this is where we are going. I'm a Ghanaian, I'm a scientist from Ghana, and I would not like my fellow Ghanaian to die. The perception is that when they bring GMO product, the whole it will end up wiping our population. But what I have learned from Prof. Danso is it has made me clear that no, that's not the picture. It is to solve a problem. And it's always said that a successful person is somebody who solves problems. If you don't solve problems, you cannot be successful. A lazy person don't get solutions. So I think that at the end of it, we should work hard, and this country will get success. Yes, he showed a lot of graphs showing other countries like Malawi, Kenya, South Africa going into almost full scale of this sort of products. And at least, if we should also copy from them, we should take a full step and learn what are the lessons from there. Not to, at least, those critiquing it, when you are critiquing it, you should critique it from an angle that is helpful to the country. Don't critique and be sitting down and you don't bring options. That is the option I think we should look at. If you are opposition, you should not be a negative opposition but a positive opposition.
GMOs, I know these scientific innovations that scientists have developed to increase production of some of the things we do as farmers, and that will increase our yields, use less inputs to realize plenty harvest, and also to reduce the use of chemicals and insecticides that normally pollute the atmosphere and our water bodies. And I think I embrace it, one, because I'm looking at food security. If you look at MOFA definition for food security, they are telling you before one is secured, you must get the food in the right quantities and qualities. It must be affordable, and the food must be available at all times. So looking at all these things and the rate at which agriculture is moving in this country, we cannot afford to do anything than to look at innovations like biotechnology to improve and secure our yields for our food and income securities as farmers and as a nation. So other countries like Burkina Faso, they have adopted BT cotton, and BT cotton is helping them a lot because they have increased their yields, they have increased the tonnage they produce. As we speak, Burkina Faso is making closely 1 million metric tons of seed cotton yearly, whilst in Ghana we are performing poorly. We are performing poorly because of the lack of innovations like biotechnology. All the 13 cotton companies we have in Ghana are all dead. Pusinamong of Western Division, Plantation Development Limited, Nulox, Intercontinental, Agric, all these companies are no more. But what we see is that the farmers are still around. I equally want to thank the scientific community for taking time to explain to us what biotechnology is, and also giving us the opportunity to probe deep into their lectures. So in view of all these developments, the lectures, the wonderful lectures, the interesting lectures we have received, I want to appeal to the scientific community to hit the ground running. Cocoa came from Fernandipo, we didn't probe it, and it's now a story in this country. Cocoa farmers are the richest people. So why can't we also embrace this new initiative? So I urge everybody to be part and parcel of it.
Actually, this GMO, when it came, I think I started hearing of it about 3 years ago. And actually, we the farmers, that they were, okay, whether it was rumors or it was true, that they were going to import it from the seed from America, South Africa. So all afraid, if they import this seed from South Africa and now we're all going to eat, then finally maybe we're able to lose this our local seed. Finally, then the South Africans and the Americans don't supply us. Where do we go? But today the seminar have come to learn a lot. Even the researchers are trying to improve, do the GMO in Ghana. After doing it, they are going to give it the seed dealers in Ghana. They will sell it. So when I came to hear of this, I'm very happy. Because this is our local seed we are planting. Actually, with the farmers, we are suffering. Every day we are still where we are because we can't harvest more. So we can't challenge even the other countries. And we are all in this the global world. So after today, I'm happy that this seed is not going to be imported from South Africa. It's not going to be imported from America, but we are going to produce it in Ghana. It's supposed to be promoted. Because if we don't even promote it, others are doing it. We import food from them. So whether we should promote it, because we can't stop importing food from the other countries. We will still be importing from the other countries. And they are doing it. So if we say no, and we still go to import their food, it will have done nothing. So we support that they should promote it. So we should also do it, so that we the farmers too, our poverty will reduce more.